The Celtics have been just equally as bad.
He looks like donkey shit.
It's honestly refreshing for Knicks fans everywhere to see this.
I don't see the Celtics coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know what I want to talk about. This week has been, honestly, the last couple of weeks have been nothing short of amazing to watch as a Knicks fan, in particular, just because of how much despair we went through over the last 20 plus years. And now coming to this point where we always thought coming into this year, we had the team that we made a lot of big trades, getting Mikal Bridges, getting Karl-Anthony Towns. This is just the culmination of it, right? We all expected to beat Detroit in some capacity, and we wound up doing so. But what we've seen over the last two games, Derek, is nothing short of astounding, beautiful, sexy. I don't even know what else other, synonyms that I could describe it. It has been a joy to watch the New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics 2 games in a row in Boston.
Yeah, it's actually amazing to see because this even traces back to last year when you guys traded for Bridges. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys got him last year.
No, we got him this offseason.
Really? You got Cat and him in the same offseason?
That is correct.
That's crazy. I don't know why it seemed like late last offseason, but like early, I don't know. But that trade is playing a huge factor right now because in defensive scenarios, with time winding down, who are they putting on the best player? They're putting him or OG. And both of them are doing a phenomenal job. Bridges is absolutely locking down Jaylen Brown, who is an all-star, a big all-star, and Jason Tatum, who people are saying is one of the best players in the league. It's great to see, in my eyes, but there's one thing that I do want to talk about that's kind of going unnoticed, is even though obviously they are struggling during the game, but then they're closing out in the fourth quarter, Tibbs is coaching a great game.
He is. Look, this is how Tibbs coaches, and a lot of people, you either hate it or you love it, and a lot of the previous teams he's been on, particularly the Timberwolves, really didn't gel with it because it takes every single player on the team to buy into this system, right? His system is heavy defense. His system is heavy conditioning, and it's offensive set pieces sporadically centered and focused around one key player.
Yes.
Right? So not a lot of these other teams and not a lot of these other players want to do the defense and the conditioning side of things. It's not easy looking at a box score every night and seeing your star players, Cat, Brunson, Bridges, OG, Hart, play 40-plus minutes a night. Right? And he gains a lot of shit for that because people are saying, why would you just burn them out during the year? When in reality, sure, right, it could eventually burn out, but his whole philosophy is we're going to outwork the other team, right?
Yeah.
We're going to outlast the other team. And it's showing this postseason in particular because of the Knicks' fourth quarter runs. It's not only against Boston, it's against Detroit too. They did this consistently in the first round. It's almost as if when watching the game, right, the Knicks are kind of just hanging around in the first 3 quarters, maybe a little bit different against Boston where they go down 20 in both games, but they're hanging around, and then come the fourth quarter, the other team is almost like tired, and the Knicks are just getting their second wind.
Yeah. It's crazy to see because you and me, we can both admit, we both shitted on them. We both said that we're going to make it out of the second round. We didn't think they're going to take a game.
Yep.
But they're doing a great job of just, even going back to in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson seemed to be unstoppable, especially in the closing game, breaking Asher Thompson's ankles and hitting a game-winning 3, might I say, with time expiring. It's the clutch players are coming to fruition, and Jalen Brunson. Cat's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yep.
When they need Mitchell Robinson, they'll toss in Mitchell Robinson for some defense. They're with an 8-man rotation, because they're averaging an 8-man rotation a night, 8 to 9, I believe.
It's really 7 to 8, but yes.
Yeah. All right. So even with at most an 8, they're playing outstanding. The only thing I can say, I could commend them. I hate to do this because it's your team and it's not my team, but they're just playing out fucking standing.
Yeah, it's It's refreshing to see because one of the biggest issues that we had last year was when Brunson got injured or when Brunson came out, you had that big deficit and that big hole of who to go to, right? Where's the scoring coming from? Where's the scoring being provided? However, I mean, if you look at it from this perspective, right, Brunson had a great game one in Boston. Cat had a bad game one in Boston, but Brunson was the one who really took over along with OG, that was able to fuel that comeback, get it into overtime, and then just completely outlast Boston. The second game, it was a little bit opposite, right? Brunson was not particularly on point, right? He didn't really have his A game throughout the game, but then you got huge pickups from Cat, who was outstanding the first 3 quarters of the game. Then in the fourth quarter comes, Mikal Bridges had 0 going into the fourth quarter. He wound up outscoring Jason Tatum for the entire game just in the fourth quarter alone. Yeah. Right? So the premise of being able to have those different types of options and having so much star power on one team, right? We always wondered if it would culminate and would work. It's working to perfection right now. And I will admit, Derek, what you said is 100% correct. Tibbs is coaching outstanding. He really is. The defensive front, the substitutions, all of it, keeping them motivated. And then on the flip side, I did want to give a special shout out, and you mentioned him, Mitchell Robinson. How much of a factor he has been, right? Sure, Boston gives him a couple of whacks here and there to send him to the line because he's a bad free throw shooter, but Mitch's defense has been outstanding. Mitch's offensive rebound has been outstanding. I mean, just on the last play last night when Tatum was driving to the basket, Mitch averted him to the double team of Bridges and OG, right? So the all of these players are perfectly playing together right now, and I think that's what's making the Knicks a scary team. And I can guarantee you this, Boston, their fans, their coaches, their players, they definitely did not see this coming.
No, they did not. And this is going to be if the Knicks take this next game, if they take game 3 at home, I don't see the Celtics coming back because it's going to be it's going to be hard to come back in the Garden.
Oh, of course. Look, if anybody who goes down 3-0 is hard, but I do want to say something a little controversial, not too much, but I think this is one of those instances where game 3 is a must-win for both teams. and I'm going to give you just a reason why. The Boston side is obvious, right? You go down 3-0, it's pretty much over, right? No matter who you're playing. To win 4 games in a row in a playoff series, it's extremely difficult when your back's against the wall. But if you look on the flip side to the Knicks, right? The goal here is to take 1 out of 2 in New York. And I think everybody knows that, right? You go up 3-1, you make this a chess match for Boston. They have to win 3 straight. But if you win game 3, all of the pressure is off of you.
Yeah.
All of it. And if you lose game 3, all of the pressure is back on you to take a game at the Garden. So I think this game 3 is easily the biggest one of the series by far. This is going to determine who wins this series, in my opinion. And on the flip side, I do want to give a little bit of life into the Knicks because regardless what you just did in Boston, now Boston has to win 4 out of 5 of the next games.
Yeah.
Which is extremely difficult to begin with, but you just put all that pressure on the defending champions, and they should be absolutely praised for that.
Yeah, and one thing like to like go off of like the Celtics is like it's like they're playing good in the first 3 quarters, we'll say. And then when it comes to the fourth quarter, they're just a shell of themselves. They're not the team they were last year. Last game 1. Tatum, I believe, shot 7 for 23 from the field.
Yep.
And then, obviously, Brown did what he did to make it a close game. But still, that's just for the best players and for being one of the best teams and favorite to win the championship, it's not good to say at all.
No, and I don't want to give all the praise to the Knicks here either, right? The Celtics have been just equally as bad. Missing a record-breaking 45 threes in the first game. Attempting a record-breaking 60 threes in the first game is unheard of to begin with, but let alone missing 45 of them. And then following up that performance by missing another 30 in game 2. They live and die by the three-pointer. That's how their philosophy works. That's what it is. They don't drive to the hoop a lot, and when they do drive to the hoop, they're constantly looking to back out to a guy who's wide open on the three-point line. That's just how it works. And that philosophy has not worked in the first two games. And I did want to being a Knicks fan that I am, I want to give a little shit to Tatum, right? He has been absolutely horrible this series so far. Absolutely horrible. For all the praise he's gotten as one of, quote unquote, the best players in the NBA, he looks like pure garbage the first two games.
Agreed. He looks like donkey shit, honest to God.
Yep.
I've never, don't get me wrong, he has, his games to where he's a stinker. But, these are the first two games of the series at home, and you're just shitting the bed. It's just not good basketball you're playing. I understand you're battling an injury, but you're at home. You cannot let the away team, when you have home court advantage, you cannot let them take two games at home. Because now you have to go to New York for two games, and I believe the Knicks have the advantage to where there's another game in New York than what it would have been if they would have taken one game in Boston.
Well, yeah, because now you immediately force the game 6, which is automatically going to go back to the Garden. So, yeah, I mean, look, this was huge. Not only is the crowd on Saturday going to be hostile as shit, that's just how New York works, especially with the Knicks, where fans have been begging for centuries for a championship, right? These fans are passionate, they're loud, they're crazy, but to lose like that in game one, right? And not to mention, we didn't even mention this yet, Derek. Both games, Boston blew a 20-point lead.
Yes.
Which is astounding to begin with. But losing a 20-point lead in game one and then having that 20-point lead again in game two, I thought, and I think all Knicks fans thought, it was going to go the route of what happened with OKC Denver, right? Yeah. Denver steals game one. And then OKC absolutely fucking full throttles them game two.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That's what I thought it was going to be. And somehow, I don't know if it's mentality, if it's coaching, if it's fatigue, the Celtics just completely deflated again in the fourth quarter, blowing it again. And here we are, 2-0 Knicks.
I can't believe I'm saying that. I would not in a million years. We were giving them shit for not being able to take down the good teams, and they're in the fourth quarter. They're owning the best teams in obviously the playoffs is the best 8 teams. They're owning the teams that they're going against.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch, and it's honestly refreshing for Knicks fans everywhere to see this because, like you said, we really didn't have a lot of expectations going into this series, and what they've been able to do. There's a lot of game left. There's a lot of games left. You got to really keep your foot on the pedal, but what they've been able to do so far has been awesome to watch.
Yeah, and one last thing that I want to say about the Knicks, and this is Knicks and the Celtics in general, is that going into this series after the Pistons game, I believe the odds were plus 1,300, 1,350 minus 1,350 for the Celtics. They were favored massively.
Yep.
And just
yeah, I mean, and on top of that, not to cut you off, but both games the Celtics have been favored by over 10 points.
And look what's happened. The Knicks took both of those games. In a bettors aspect, that's insane. People who bet on the Knicks in the series, they're probably cheesing right now at a cash out that they have.
Yep.
But in general, I believe it was Jaylen Brown who said it, or Kristaps who said it in the interview. He said that the pressure's off of them because they were going into the series favored. But they were defending champions. You cannot say that in a fucking interview after you lose a crucial game too at home.
Look, it's like I said, I have nothing more to say. We got a lot of more work to do, but it's been awesome to see these first two games.
Yep. And well, now we could